We're going to go on with this theme for the third year in a row. Senator Rand Paul won the CPAC straw poll this weekend, way ahead of the man some call the presumptive GOP frontrunner, Jeb Bush. Here are the final poll results. Governor Scott Walker coming in a very close second with 21% of the vote. Ted Cruz in third with 12%. Dr. Ben Carson in fourth with 11%. Jeb Bush in fifth with 8%, despite his showing. Many political observers say the more moderate Bush actually held his own before a tough crowd at CPAC. Do you agree?
Again, my toes weren't curling when Bush was speaking. I think he got a lot of softball questions.
I love it.
My toes curl over Scott Walker, Marco Rubio. I do think that he does deserve some style points for showing up. Jeb does deserve credit. He knew that was going to be an unfriendly audience. But when I look at the straw poll, it's not a big surprise that Rand Paul won. I also do like Rand Paul a lot. Libertarians typically win because they organize and they get their people in. And you look at who won last time around, and it was Ron Paul. That was the big sort of name who won. That was his father. But Harris, the real key is look to see who comes in second. Look who came in second the last time around, Mitt Romney. Scott Walker came in second this time around. He is, in my opinion, the one to watch.
Yeah, I mean, if you're Jeb Bush, are you a little concerned that Governor Scott Walker is ahead of you, Jedediah?
Well, he's very concerned because he's not being loved by conservatives. Common Core has been a huge issue for him. He's still out there. I heard him out there on the news. Common Core raises standards. No, it doesn't raise standards. You need to get a better talking point, Jeb. Some of us actually are informed on Common Core. That's going to hurt you. But I think he's worried about Scott Walker because Scott Walker's a real reformer, and he's viewed as a guy that overcomes insurmountable odds, is a conservative warrior, someone that on policy is reliable and that you could send into Washington. He's a regular guy. He has that regular guy appeal. And people feel, you know what, you send Scott Walker into Washington and he's going to dig his heels in. He's not going to be so Gumby-ish.
Here's why I think he's worried about Scott Walker. He does bridge the gap between the establishment and the conservatives, particularly in fundraising. I mean, I know a lot of Wall Street guys. Anthony Scaramucci, he's a Fox Business contributor, raised a lot of money for Romney last time around. There's a lot of Wall Street guys giving money to Scott Walker. He does bridge that gap. That's going to be a problem. Now, I don't know if Walker can ultimately pull it off. I don't know if he's got the charisma and all the other nonsensical stuff. But he's smart on policy, and he does speak to the establishment.
Yeah, this is the most reliable audience that Rand Paul has, and I think you saw Scott Walker really take a big bite out of that loyalty and that fervent audience. Walker poses a bigger threat to Jeb Bush because they're both governors. They're both executives. And if that's an attractive quality for Bush versus Paul, then Scott Walker negates that.
Yeah, and as Andrea pointed out, we had another Paul, his dad, win in the past as well. And so, you know, people can make the similarity if you want to talk about dynasties and looking at names. I mean, there's one right there with the CPAC poll.
Rand Paul.
Yeah, libertarians traditionally do very well at CPAC.
Yeah.
All right. They lose everything.
Well, that's right. That's why look who comes in second, people.
One of my favorite moments on the couch is we showed all the names, and one day you yawned because there were so many people on the screen.
I can't wait for this to. Yeah, it's like the early stage of a beauty pageant. Like you really don't want to watch until the swimsuit competition.
Oh, goodness gracious.